Basis for final grade or basis for grading. Education Act of 1982 states, the final grade or rating given to a pupil or student in a subject should be solely based on his scholastic performance. Any addition or diminution to the grade in a subject for co-curricular activities, attendance, or misconduct shall not be allowed, except as may otherwise be explicitly provided for by an individual school in an appropriate issuance or publication, and provided further that such adjustments are relevant to the subject contents and requirements. In the elementary level, the misconduct of the pupil may affect his class standing or final grade in character education. Now, what if a student is active in co-curricular activities? It is allowed, but there is a condition. What is the condition? That from the very start, there is already an agreement and an announcement that such is granted according to the school policy. Meaning to say, it is already the policy of the school being published and made known to all the parents, to all the students, that if you are participating in a competition, provincial or regional, and if you win, points will be added to your grade in a specific subject. So, if you participate in a dance competition, no, if it is in the policy being published and made known, discussed and explained to all the parents of the students in the school, then additional points may be given to physical education. If it is competition in Filipino, no, tula or talumpati, then additional points may be given to your subject in Filipino. The condition is there should be a policy, no, a guidelines being set by the school and is being published, announced, and explained to all the parents of the school at the start of the school year or academic year. Meaning to say, dili pwede nga magbuot-buot ra si ma'am o si sir sa pag-add og points sa grado sa bata. No? There should be a school policy from the very start. And another important point is, it cannot be denied that there are just certain pupils who are, siaw. No. Siaw nga mga pupils. And then, we will just be surprised because nahagbong or nahibilin sa klase. And then the reason is tungod sa kasiaw. No. The action of the teacher is not valid because according to the law, attitude or conduct of the pupil can only be deducted in what subject? In character education. So meaning to say, if a pupil or if a student is misbehaving, if ever you will deduct points, the deduction will not affect the other subjects like mathematics, science, English, or social studies, but what subject will be affected? Character education. You see, so the law is clear that in the computation of grades, the sole basis in the computation of grades in determining the grade of a student is the academic performance of the pupil and nothing else. Okay? So, if in case it happens to you, with your grade or with your grades that you will receive from your professors and instructors, it is important. If you feel and if you have doubts about your grade, then you can question your professor, "Sir, why is my grade like this?" No. Do you have any basis? Because it is your right to know how your grade is being computed, how your grade is being determined by your teachers or by your instructors. It is your right to know. And if you see that your grade is not properly computed, then it is also your right to demand that correct action or corrections will be done so that you'll be given the correct, the accurate, and the appropriate grade. How about attendance to classes? You know, for some teachers in the grading system, they provide a certain percentage in the computation of grades, the attendance of a student or of a pupil. Well, it is a prerogative to the teacher whether or not to include attendance as part of the grade of a pupil or of a student. So there are teachers who will include attendance as one of the components, perhaps only given 5%, but there are also teachers who will not give credit to attendance. Anyhow, attendance is important in the class in terms of your stay, whether or not you will fail or pass in your particular subject. Because according to the law, a student is given a number of absences so that he or she will be dropped from the roll. Okay? So, take note of the number of absences that you will incur, because if it goes beyond the limit, then you will already be considered dropped. And in our system, dropped is equivalent to 5 or to a failing grade. So according to the law, a student is given not more than 20% of the total class hours for her or his absence, so that he or she will not be considered dropped from the roll or dropped from the class. Now, for our purpose, one subject is equivalent to 54 hours. And for one meeting, we spend, I am referring to the usual setup when we were still having face-to-face classes. So we used to have, per meeting, we used to have 1.5 hours, because for 1 week, there is a total of 3 hours. Okay? So 3 hours per week, 1.5 hour per meeting. So, what is 20% of 54 hours? 20% of 54 hours is 10.8. Now take note that per meeting, there is 1.5 hours. So, how many meetings will it take for you to reach 20%? So, 10.8 over 1.5 hour give us 7.2. Meaning to say, your absence from the class must not exceed 7 meetings. No? So, if your absences will exceed 7 meetings, whether it is consecutive, continuous, or not, so long as it will total to 7 absences, then you are already considered dropped from the roll or has a failing grade. Okay, so your absences must not exceed 20% of the total class hours so that you will not be given a failing grade of 5 or equivalent to drop. I hope all these things are clear to you, because you are not only expected to learn about this, but you are also expected to apply this to your life, especially if we'll go back to the normal. Now, when we go back to the face-to-face engagement or classes, that you'll be conscious that absences is being computed, and you should not exceed 20%, or you should not exceed 7. If you go beyond 7, your absences will total to 8 or 9, then just expect that you are already dropped from your class, and therefore it will be given an equivalent of 5 or a failure. So, there are two important points that we have learned today about how grades are computed and also about absences. I hope that you have learned these things, and if ever you have some questions and some points of clarification, do not hesitate to write it down in the comment section, or you can raise it in our group chat so that these questions can properly be answered. Thank you and good day. Please be safe.